Baby Brains. For this segment, we are going to be talking about going outside. And since it's finally warm and sunny, at least most of the time, this is a great one to talk about for June and upcoming summertime. So, green is great for babies and for caregivers. And what I mean by that is going outside where there's some greenery, some leaves, some grass is so good for just getting fresh air and your mental health. And studies have actually shown that even just 10 minutes of being outside can help reduce stress. Plus, it's a great learning environment for babies and toddlers. So why not take them outside? So today, I have some ideas of what you can do with your baby or toddler outside. The first one is simply just take a walk. And that might seem kind of obvious, but when you're outside, you can just see so much more than what you're used to seeing inside your house or wherever you are all day. And you can point things out to your child. Especially if they're an older toddler, you can ask them what they see. Do you notice the cars or the clouds? Do you hear any birds? It's really good to talk about your senses. What do you see, and hear, and feel, and smell? Maybe you smell some flowers or something like that. And then if you have a little baby, you can bring out a blanket and do some tummy time. Support their head because it's really good for the back of the neck. Or you can lay them on their back under a tree and they can look up at the leaves. I used to do that with my son and he really liked that. If they're a little bit older, you can look for shapes in the clouds. You can obviously pack a picnic out there or bring out some toys. And even if you just spend 10, 20 minutes outside, it's just really good. It can help, maybe if your baby or toddler is being a little fussy or rambunctious, sometimes that change of scenery is so good. So some other ideas. You can play I Spy. Now this will obviously work with a more verbal toddler or preschooler, but it's really good practice too to identify colors. So you could do colors, you could do shapes, you could even do objects like I spy a cloud, and I spy a tree, or I spy, a bunny, or whatever you see in your backyard, just for language development and helping them to identify items. Let's see, if you have a place where you can feed the ducks, if there's a pond nearby, that's always fun, bring some peas and corn, or you can fill a bird feeder in your own backyard. Kids like to help with that, and then you can watch the birds. You can collect sticks or leaves or rocks. Kids sometimes love to just collect things just to collect them. You could also just make shapes with them or even build like a little fairy house or a house for a toad or something fun, especially when they get into that toddler preschool age and they're really curious. They like to do that stuff. They just like to pick up things and build and stack and make. So it's great for fine motor and just for exploring. You can obviously, if you have a pail and shovel, which you can get these at some of the dollar stores, these are great if you have a sandbox or even some gravel, if you have a gravel driveway or a gravel pit or a dirt pit, anything like that where they can dig and explore. It's a really good sensory one. And then, kicking a ball. That's obviously simple. If you have a ball, any kind of ball will work, like a soccer ball or those squishy rubber balls you can get at Walmart or Dollar General for $5. That's a great outdoor activity. Driving cars and trucks. I know some kids love to do that. So you can drive them outside, and then you can use directional words like, oh, the truck's going forward or backward. And you can use action words like tip, dump, and scoop. So things like that. You can make mud pies. That's a classic one, right? So if you have an old muffin tin that's kind of beat up and you don't mind it getting dirty, you can give it to your child, and outside you can just play with dirt. You can add some water with your garden hose if it's been dry, and just put them in old clothes and just let them have fun making mud pies, pretend to make cupcakes or muffins. It's another good, really sensory thing. And then just hose off when you're done. It'll be messy, but it'll be fun. You could head to the farmer's market. I know in Worcester we have one every Saturday in the summer. So that's another way to get out and check things out. You can look for an arboretum or a greenhouse or conservatory to walk around. If you've never been to Seacrest Arboretum in Worcester, that's a great place. They have lots of trails to walk on in a kids area. And of course our city parks are wonderful too. We have so many different playgrounds and areas for them to explore. If you know someone with a creek in their backyard, that's another fun thing to do and explore. And actually there is a little creek running through Christmas Run Park that you can go down and kind of wade in and get your feet wet and stuff. So just having fun exploring outdoors in the woods or a creek, wherever you can find it. Playing with bubbles is a classic one, and kids love to do that outside. And sidewalk chalk. And there's lots of ideas with sidewalk chalk. You can just free draw whatever you want. You can draw roads and bring out your Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. My son loves to do that. So we'll draw roads all over and draw a whole town. Another thing you can do, and I'll insert some pictures here, is practice shapes or letters or numbers. And so one of the ideas is you could draw like a blue triangle and a pink circle and ask the child, can you jump to the blue triangle? Can you find the pink circle? Or numbers. I drew numbers in squares with my son, and I kind of spaced them apart and offset them. And I asked him to jump to the numbers. Can you jump from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3? And he really enjoyed that, and it's very active for them, and it gives them good practice identifying numbers. And if they get it wrong, which happens, it's not a big deal. Say, oh, nope, that's number 4. Go back to number 2. Where's 3? And things like that. Another fun thing to do that I had read about online, and I just tried it this year, is getting an old paintbrush and just an empty container and filling it with water, and you paint on your driveway or your patio or your sidewalk with water. And it's really cool because it's fun to see the water kind of spreads out and your picture that you're painting will change, but it also evaporates really quickly. And so you don't have to worry about it staying there, it'll just obviously evaporate. And that's a really fun one to explore with, and it feels really good on a hot day because if you splash your legs with the water, no big deal. And if you have an older kid, it might be fun even on really hot days it evaporates quickly, so you could have them try to write their name before it evaporates from the heat of the sun. So that's a really cool one, and we have a picture of that too to show you kind of what I'm talking about. Obviously, splashing in water, you can get those baby pools almost anywhere. They're fairly inexpensive. Or any container that you have, just watch your child closely. You can even, if you don't have a whole pool, if you just have a little container that you can take outside, they can splash their hands in, they can put toys in it, pretend to wash their cars. Water play is always really great outdoors. A couple other things are picking fruit. I know around here sometimes we'll see signs for you can pick your own strawberries or blueberries or raspberries, or in the fall, apples, and that's a great activity too. It's good for kids to see where food comes from, and it's a good activity to do together, and of course nothing tastes as good as freshly picked fruit. And the last one, of course, is read a book. We have lots of great board books and picture books here, and you could get one about the outdoors. You can get it about whatever you want, and just read to your child under a nice shady tree. So I hope that gave you some ideas of things to do outdoors, especially so we can get outside and enjoy the weather. And you can incorporate some learning activities and literacy and all that good stuff in there. But most important, have fun. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.